All right, Bannock County Commissioners are in session this morning. It's Tuesday, January 20th. Can you believe it's January 20th already?
I cannot.
Man. Okay, well, we're going to start off this morning with indigent business. Chantel.
Yes. So the first case that I have for you is case number 2026-0010. It's an application for cremation expenses through Manning Wheatley Funeral Home in the amount of $1,500. The recommendation is a denial of this application pursuant to Idaho Code 31-3403. Bannock County does not appear to be the last resource for payment of these final expenses. The next case that I have for you is case number 2026-0011. It's an application for cremation expenses submitted by Hanson Mortuary in the amount of $1,500. The deceased is a 58-year-old male. He is a Bannock County resident, was not a veteran. With all of the information that I did obtain, it does appear that they meet criteria to be eligible for assistance, and there is no responsible party available for repayment of this request at this time. And the last case that I have for you is case number 2026-0012. It's an application for cremation expenses through Wilkes Funeral Home in the amount of $1,500. The application has been submitted by the father of the deceased. He's applying for cremation expenses for his 46-year-old son. He was a Bannock County resident. He was not a veteran. With all of the information that I did obtain, it does appear that he meets criteria to be eligible for assistance. And the applicant has agreed to a $25 a month repayment plan upon approval of this application.
Any questions, comments, concerns? I would entertain a motion then.
I'd make a motion to go ahead and deny case 2026-0010 and approve case 2026-0011 and 0012.
We have a motion. Any further discussion? Don't sign that one. All in favor, say aye. 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 Okay, thank you, Chantel.
Yes.
Zane, come on up. Ernie, we'll let you do this.
I'd make a motion that we go ahead and approve, let's see, Zane Robinson to be a member of the Snow Grooming Board, and then we can swear him in.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye. 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 Okay.
You have the sheet to swear him in. Go ahead and stand up.
Okay.
Sean, just swear. Repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Donald Zane Robinson,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
member of the Bannock County Snow Grooming Committee,
member of the Bannock County Snowmobile Grooming Committee,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Welcome
Thank you.
back. Go ahead and sign right there. Now all we need is a little snow.
Yeah, a lot of snow. Have you even gotten your snow shovel out this year?
One time. Thank you.
Thank you, Zane. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. And bylaws, can I get a copy of the, because I assume they've changed since I was on board.
I think if you stop downstairs to the office, Chrissy can get you a copy of that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks. I don't see Todd, and I don't, there's
There he
Todd.
is.
Come on up, Todd. Phew.
Letting you warm up.
A little chilly on your walk this morning.
It was a little chilly.
Christie will bring that up to record, I think.
Okay.
And
Christie takes care of that.
she'll take care of that part of it.
Okay. I was just giving you the shot.
Yeah, we'll just stay with the SOP.
Okay.
Doesn't confuse people.
floor is yours, Todd.
Good morning, Todd Mauger with Bannock County Juvenile Justice in the Village. I'm here today to request a signature on a renewal for a site agreement for the agreement between Bannock County Juvenile Justice, the Village, and Idaho State University, the GEM State AmeriCorps program. As you're aware, the AmeriCorps program is providing quite an opportunity for interns from Idaho State University to be reimbursed for service at the Village. Last year, well, since October 1st, we've had about 974 hours of service hours between the 5 AmeriCorps members we have. They've cut service contracts down from 1,200. We had 8 1,200-hour contracts, and they've cut it down to like 3 900-hour contracts and 1 450-hour contract. So there were some funding cuts, but overall, we couldn't do what we're doing at the Village without the assistance of the AmeriCorps program. They've been fantastic to work with. Callie Dance was going to be here today and ran into some challenges and wasn't able to be here, but
So do you see any ongoing cuts to that program, or do you think we're at the end of it?
you never know, right? In this day and age, it's hoped that they'll be able to extend contracts after this year. They weren't 100% sure, and they usually won't know till July. So we're hoping either they maintain or can expand some contracts our way. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's been a really good program for us.
It is, because we're able to get those interns in instead of, you get them in and train and they get 140 or 300 hours in, and then you turn them loose, and that's about the time they become really valuable for your organization. And so it's been great. And they receive a living stipend and an educational stipend, so it's good for them as well. It's a win-win.
So again, just remind me, what are some of the things that you have them doing that help them with their education? And
So we basically have 3 different job descriptions. We have like a behavioral tech job description that's for master's level social workers or counselors they're doing more, I wouldn't say they're completely clinical, but more in-depth assessments for the higher risk families to help determine what services they need. And they can do some crisis and triage counseling or work with the families in between us receiving the families and then handing them off to a provider for counseling. So maybe there's a week or 2 where a youth may need, check-ins weekly or, daily. They're doing that. And then we have an assessment center specialist position that does screenings, assessments, takes calls at the front desk, and then does some case management for the lower risk. And then we have a community engagement specialist position that's doing kind of those after-school activities, supporting the community service or the service learning projects, and after-school tutoring and some of the summer programs and things we're doing.
Cool. Well, thank you. Any other questions?
No.
Comments, concerns?
Do these volunteers have to be associated with ISU?
No, they do not. No, they do not. And they don't have to be interns. I like the idea of an intern because there's a little bit more, they're looking to gain more knowledge and skill. And one of our goals with the Village is to extend the number of mental health professionals in our community afterwards. So by bringing those interns in and connecting them with the local providers and letting them kind of learn the landscape, they're building relationships with those providers so that they can stay in the community, we hope, once they graduate rather than leave.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, I would entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and sign this agreement with AmeriCorps.
Okay, we have a motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Todd. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you all.
Anita. And Jen. Might as well. Come on up and have some fun.
So, Anita Hymas, Bannock County Assessor. Here for the, Jeff talked about the letter of cancellation. It's kind of a big one. We've been working with the treasurer's office on some delinquencies and stuff like that, and so we're, yeah.
I had a question. What is the acquired by Housing Alliance? What is that all about?
Acquired?
Yeah, on your owner, it says Housing Alliance, and the explanation is acquired by the Housing Alliance.
It's the, can you explain that better? It's,
The Convergys building, right,
Yeah.
on Main Street.
yeah, where it's Housing Alliance, and what it is a low-income
Right.
housing thing, and they do it a little different.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
I
subsidized,
got a question
so.
there too.
What's the David Bickley Dev X dropped off parcel?
Homeowners exemption, dropped off the parcel.
Oh.
Or is that the developers?
There's a development exemption dropped off.
Development exception?
So, see, my sidekick's not here.
I saw an X, and I thought,
what are we paying you for?
a DV, I thought divorce, and an X, and why is the taxes dropping? Because he got a divorce.
X is short for exemption.
Okay.
Everybody's told me to delegate, so I did, and so I mailed it.
Good job. That's what a leader should do.
It's not
I'm
his.
reading through that one. I'm not getting the shorthand.
So the Housing Alliance, aren't they the same ones that have the, for the Aid for Friends?
No, they're a different,
Or is that Idaho Housing?
there's, yeah, that's, Housing Alliance is what we call usually Section 8s. They're housing, there's several facilities here in town that are underneath them. They're
Okay.
subsidized.
I had the same question, like, what in the world are they, so how many
I won't-
units do
I
they
won't-
think they're gonna have there?
Yeah. Yeah,
So why don't they have to submit the paperwork first of the year like everybody else?
they used to have to pay a fee. They used to pay a fee, and then some stuff
They
happened.
did the in lieu of taxes.
Yeah, the fee in
They
lieu of
were
taxes.
set up different, so every year we would bill them in lieu of taxes, but then the city of Pocatello took that over.
So we don't do that anymore.
And then legal decided that we could no longer bill them for those dollars. Paralegal.
And this happened probably about 4 years ago when this took place, and the values never got taken off or whatever.
So does this affect the second year, or the second half of these taxes, or is this for next year?
This is for 2025.
Which is,
This year.
So what we're doing is we're sending a bill out to the old owner for the difference. Because the bill went to Housing Alliance, but the old owner owned it up through August and told them when they did their paperwork that the taxes were current, which they were on paper, but they didn't prorate for January through August. So we are going to attempt to send a bill out to the prior owner and see what happens. There is a chance that we will have delinquent taxes on the portion that hasn't been paid.
so what kind of an impact is this gonna have on our taxing entities? If we go with these numbers here, does that affect the second half taxes due?
We are canceling a dollar amount off of the 2025 taxes, so
Off the assessed value or off the taxes?
Off the taxes.
Okay, so that could affect some of our taxing entities then.
Except for the fact that we've got several occupancy, which we estimated at nothing.
Okay.
So those usually offset the two. And Randy keeps a spreadsheet of what all he's taking off versus what he's putting on so that we can net that out. And then if we get into a deficit situation, then
Then we do
would
a
bring that
clawback
before the
sort of
board
thing?
and the districts, yes. But in the past, because we do not anticipate sub-roll usually, and we never anticipate occupancy, it's usually worked
And
as
we
a
have a
net
lot.
benefit.
Keeps us.
We have a lot
Yeah.
of several this year.
Okay. Okay, then I would entertain a motion on that, to accept that.
with frustration. I'd go ahead and make the motion to approve the cancellation request
We have a
from
motion.
the assessor.
We have a motion on the
Thank you.
table. Is there any other
Thank you.
discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Will you two please stay for this next discussion? Okay, with that, turn the floor over to our legal department, and before we do that, I just want to tell him thank you so much for your proactive approach to this. The information you sent us last week was fantastic, so thank you for that, and the floor is yours.
Well, so we can be really quick with this. Jonathan Radford, Bannock County Legal. In the discussions that we had, I believe it was last week, I went and looked through ordinances and discovered that we didn't have a 602 NN ordinance on the books. Under the code, and just for those that are watching, Idaho Code 63602 NN gives the Board of County Commissioners discretion to grant specific tax exemptions on plant investments. It's not on the land, but on any infrastructure or building of buildings that qualifies as a plant. And there's a specific definition with that as well. We're talking about mostly industrial type things, technology, industrial, manufacturing. With the code requires there to be an active ordinance, and it also requires a minimum plant investment that has to be set at least $500,000. So any plant investment under $500,000 under the code is not going to apply. But the Board of County Commissioners will need to decide on what they want their threshold to be. You can go above it, you can't go below it. Without an ordinance in place, that puts the county at a disadvantage. This is a tool that's being used across the state. I provided in the packet of materials a sample ordinance, one that I thought was wisely constructed from Canyon County. The ordinance that we had on the books just said our minimum threshold is $500,000, and everything else was completely discretionary with the Board of Commissioners. We could go that route again. The advantage of that is it gives the board a lot of discretion in what they can do with each individual planned investment. They can look at what kind of jobs it's going to bring in, what kind of infrastructure, and make the decision as to what percentage of exemption they get on the planned investment. The advantage of going with I'll call it the Canyon County route, is it gives more predictability to businesses as to what the Board of Commissioners is going to be willing to do. And it makes it more clear that it's being evenly granted, if that makes sense. And so the only thing I need today is just authorization from the Board of County Commissioners to draft the ordinance and to begin the public meeting process, and some direction on what they would like me to do in terms of what approach to follow.
Great. Well, as I said, I wanted to thank you for your proactive thing, and I did some research as well, and there's 5 or 6 other counties that have some ordinances that I think we could model and take bits and pieces from others. I very much like the tiered approach that the Canyon County had. Twin Falls has one where they have a scoring matrix that they can use to rank things, also like job creation and stuff like that. So if you might not meet a tier based on your job creation, you might get a little bit greater incentive or something to that effect. And there was one other one that I liked that, where'd it go? Yeah, there were a couple others, and I'll have to look back through my notes. I don't have it here in front of me, but I think that between the 5 other counties that have active ordinances that are similar to Canyon County with a tiered approach, based on jobs, based on wages, based on plant investment, I think we can come up with a matrix that works for Bannock County that we can then apply it very evenly across the board to everybody, so it's not so much a fly by the seat of our pants.
I'd like to not just define it as job creation, but job retention.
And that's one of the...
Incorporate the definition of that in there.
That's one of the things that one of the other counties has, is a retention or expansion for an existing company. And so I would like to definitely take that into account as well.
Keeping jobs is every bit as important as bringing in new ones.
Correct.
Or some sort of expansion of, I'd like to see it somehow the force that they have there, how can we make that more productive? How can we make it more proactive, whether that's through what they're defining in their process? But that can be done in the process of discretion. Again, I don't know how you're ever going to make an ordinance, it's going to be totally, but for instance, having to retool, retrain, we've been through that before in Pocatello for many times through the railroad and everything else. Is there other programs that they could show us that through education, through continuing ed, we can relocate or retrain? I'd love to see that kind of evaluation in there somehow. Yeah. So, however that works, but that'll all come after we decide to go through the process, right?
Correct.
How we define that.
So all I need today is an authorization to
Yeah.
move forward with the ordinance drafting process, and we can have communication between now and then.
Yeah.
And then that'll make its way into the public meeting.
So like, and I think I'm all for that. Like for Canyon County, their levels are 500,000 to 3 million, 3 million to 500 million, and 500 million plus. I don't know if that's necessarily applicable to Bannock County, so we need to look at some of those type of structures to make sure it's feasible for us and where we're at. But that's a direction.
Okay.
That initial that's an initial investment of $500,000, not including purchase price and all of that kind of stuff, right?
It's a plant investment, so you're not looking at the overall value of the property. What you're looking at is what infrastructure is being added to the property to enable new manufacturing or information technology businesses to operate.
And that has to be done initially, within a time frame, I'm guessing. It can't be, this is our 5-year plan, $100,000 a year, or could it be?
So what ends up happening under the
Because that would be
statute
nice.
is they'll make a proposal, and then the Board of County Commissioners will enter into a contract with that company. You do this, you get this amount of exemptions. And then if they don't follow through with their end of the agreement, the exemptions are off the table. That's how it works under the statute. So that's our enforcement mechanism in terms of making sure that the investment actually takes place.
And that's how a couple of other counties have it written in, is that performance measures are in there, otherwise things go away.
Okay, just to be clear, so if they did come with a proposal, because I think it would make it easier on companies to get here, they could make a proposal to the commissioners that said, we're going to invest this 500,000, or let's say 600,000 to get them over that threshold over the next 3 years, and that would be acceptable. It doesn't have to be all right now. They're buying it, they're doing all these upgrades instantly before they get the
Correct.
keys to the car, so to speak.
Correct.
Because that makes it easier for businesses to get in. That would be nice.
Yeah, the applying corporation would make a proposal to the
Okay.
Board of County Commissioners. We could set benchmarks that can all be dealt with, and that can be dealt with on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so if we can do that type of flexibility,
Okay,
good
perfect.
stuff.
And this is,
Did you have something?
it only is good for a 5-year period of time?
Correct.
Right.
The exemption does have a cap of 5 years.
So is that 5 years from the inception of it, or 5 years after they meet some of the metrics?
They can get the exemption for 5 tax years.
Okay, so if it takes them a couple of years to actually get up and running, they only have 3 more years?
Well, we could address that through the contract.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if that 5 years is fixed, or
It's
when
not.
that triggers.
Yeah, it's not from the time of application.
Okay.
They can get 5 total years per investment of tax exemption. So, let's say you've got a factory, they want to bring in some new, whatever machines to do whatever they want to do. That would count as a plant investment. They could get the exemption on those machines for 5 years. They could do other investments after that point that would bring in additional jobs. They could get another 5 years on those upgrades or that investment, if that makes sense. So it's per investment.
We actually have already seen that. There's been a couple of industrial plants here in town that's exactly what happened. They brought in, one company even built a whole new extension onto their plant, which extended it a little bit. So I'm familiar with that, and that is very, yeah.
Okay.
Jonathan's done a great job.
Yeah, agreed. Do Jen, do you have any thoughts? Christie?
So how do we know that they followed through and done that? Do they report back?
They can
Performance
report
measures?
back. We can put into the contract whatever oversight mechanisms we want. The Board of County Commissioners could go toward the property, make sure that it's been done.
I believe
So-
one of them has written in that they will supply an annual report to the commission.
Canyons did.
Yeah.
It had stipulations and
Correct.
reports they had to.
I think Twin
submit.
Falls was the same way.
The only thing I'd ask is, let's use a little bigger font.
That's pretty small.
How'd you get that new computer?
I was in a hurry. I'll think of you next time.
Well, I just took it out of the packet. Boy, that's a little
I was
tough.
trying to look at it on the computer and I had to zoom it.
All right, so is everybody in agreement to go ahead and do that? So let's start that process then.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. All right, that takes us to, thank you, ladies, you don't have to stay if you don't want to. We have
You're more than welcome.
Yep, you are welcome. Resolution 2026-6, authorizing the destruction of agreement files. Is there any discussion on that? I would move to approve Resolution 2026-6 for the destruction of files. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Then we have two different memos, again approving records to be disposed, one from the sheriff's office and one from the commissioner's office. Is there any discussion on that? Those. I think that's your time to come.
That's right.
Make a motion to approve both memos.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And that brings us to the consent agenda. Any questions, comments, or concerns with the consent agenda?
I have a comment.
Okay?
So, last week, you approved for me to spend up to $1,000 for any closing costs and things that might pop up for the Kimport Tower purchase that we just did. And the good news is, we didn't need that, and actually, that $11,700, we had to reissue that check for a lower amount, $11,400 and change. And we are complete with that purchase. So that's it. And that's in your packet.
And thank you for your efforts on that. I realize
Yeah.
you burned a lot of time and electrons getting that done.
It was interesting, but we're done. And now Adam is in the driver's seat with that tower, with the Department of Lands, so I think we're just gonna move forward. It's gonna be great. We're gonna start making money on that instead of paying money.
He's going to start working on some MOUs with the entities that share that site. So he'll be bringing that forward, and then we'll get those billing and get that money rolling back in.
I think that he should come in, and I've talked with him about this a little bit, that he should come in and how much we're going to charge is up to the commissioners more than, so I'll have him come in and talk with you about what we're going to charge those entities. We're going to be able to give them a break, but I really think that it's important that we make some money
Well, like you said the other day, there's the upgrades coming.
Yep.
And we know.
Yep, so
And so plan for
we
it.
should be able to plan for that in a way that we don't have to come up with tax dollars to pay for those upgrades.
Okay,
I'd go ahead and make a motion then that we approve the consent agenda.
we have a motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.